Welcome everyone to Around the Bases with Frenetic Pace Sports. We're going to be talking Major League Baseball today. We've got Josh Curmi and Hunter Davies, sports journalists with Frenetic Pace Sports here, sport writers. They cover baseball, football, basketball, hockey, all around Southeast Michigan and Lansing, East Lansing, Michigan. And they're going to be responsible for writing articles, opinions, and analyzing baseball and other sports. First, I want to talk about where we're at today. We're at the Venue by 4M in Ann Arbor, and I wrote a little advertisement for them because we are going to be partnering with them. They're going to advertise on our site. We're going to be holding some events and doing podcasts at their business. So what if your favorite coffee shop, your office, your meeting space, your restaurant, and your favorite happy hour were all under one roof? Welcome to Venue by 4M in Ann Arbor. Start your morning with fresh coffee and free open co-working space. Need to impress a client? Reserve one of our fully equipped meeting rooms. Ready to launch your next podcast? Our professional podcast studio is waiting for your ideas, and we're in the podcast room right now. When the workday ends, stay for handcrafted cocktails, chef-inspired food, and a vibrant atmosphere perfect for meeting your friends, celebrating milestones, or hosting your new event. Whether you're an entrepreneur, remote worker, creative professional, business team, or simply looking for a great meal, Venue by 4M is where Ann Arbor comes together to work, connect, and unwind. The location is perfect. It's at 1919 South Industrial Highway at the corner of Stadium, just minutes from downtown Ann Arbor. You can come in off 94, you can come in off 23, and you can also walk to the University of Michigan football stadium and the basketball stadium. Reserve your table, book your workspace, or schedule your meeting today at experience4m.com. Venue by 4M. Meet, create, work, dine, connect, all in one destination. So let's get back to baseball, guys. Josh, tell us what we're doing.
All right. Well, first, it's Hunter's first podcast here. I just thought everyone maybe could take a few seconds to tell us about himself, and kind of what he's going to be looking forward to doing here with Frenetic Pace Sports.
Yeah, good. So Hunter has a sports journalism degree from the Michigan State University, and tell us a little bit about that and what you did there as part of the journalism degree and what you're going to be covering over the next couple of months.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, it's wonderful to be a part of the Frenetic Pace Sports team now. Just having graduated from Michigan State University, they have a fantastic journalism program. For anybody looking to get into that into the future, their program there is terrific, with professors that are there to help you out and get you through the system. They are always there. Phone numbers, emails are very easy to reach out to. And so while I was there, whatever I was doing seemed very easy. I would write sports articles, feature stories on some of the athletes there that were lesser covered, sports like golf, tennis, and then women's soccer. I would record videos using the phone, techniques, how phone cameras have evolved. And so I wrote a lot of articles at Michigan State in my time there. And now, since I freshly graduated, I'm here with the team at Frenetic Pace Sports, covering Michigan State and the Detroit Lions football. So I will be, at sometime in August, we'll have an MSU newsletter, an MSU podcast going out there, covering a whole bunch of MSU news. As stuff breaks, we'll be breaking that here at Frenetic Pace Sports, covering all sports at Michigan State: basketball, football, hockey, baseball, anything you can think of, and then Detroit Lions football. So that is the work.
And are there as many sports as there are at the University of Michigan? I think I saw University of Michigan's 31 different varsity sports.
There are quite a bit, and I think the number is around the same, if not higher, than the University of Michigan.
So lots of stuff to cover, and lots of athletes that we'll be covering and getting them promotion and getting them out there. Athletes these days are not just athletes, right? They're social media personalities. They represent sponsors. They need that NIL money, no matter what sport it is. And so we can help them get their name out there while we're covering them in a positive way. So Frenetic Pace is going to be covering all sorts of sports. We're located in Southeast Michigan, so we'll be doing a lot of Southeast Michigan, a lot of East Lansing, but we're also covering national sports as well. You can find us at freneticpace.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X. Just search Frenetic Pace and we'll come up. Frenetic Pace has grown a lot. We have 10 journalists and 1 photographer now, and we're publishing articles at a frenetic pace. That's why we're called a frenetic pace. But it's not just churn and burn. We're going to be really getting in depth with athletes, covering stories from start to finish. One of the things I want to write about is Kevin McGonigal, and like go visit his childhood home and like meet his like high school athletes, high school coaches, and like little league coaches. Like, how is this guy, 2 years out of high school and you could argue that he's one of the best baseball players in the major leagues right now, specifically his eye. And so that'd be cool to like talk to, like, did people know, did people know about how good he would be just 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago? So, Josh, how are we doing on social media?
We're doing well. I mean, we've definitely seen a lot of uptick in necessarily engagement and, just people, talking on our posts and even sharing them. So that's been great to see.
And the reels are doing pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, obviously everything's relative, but just the post, I've had a couple already get these, thousands of views already. Like actually the one just from a couple nights ago when Tarik was on the mound and the Tigers won Tuesday night, people, when they won, they seemed to like it. And another one that did really well was Ben Malgeri's first hit.
Yeah,
first pitch.
Cool.
I remember I got lucky. I was like, you know what? I'll first at bat. I'm going to see what happens for the.
Then
kid.
he hit it on the first pitch.
First pitch, and people just ate it and people liked it. So I've been really trying to catch more of those moments. When I'm at games and kind of the raw footage there, things like that of me on my phone and just watching the game. So they've been doing well.
And I saw when he came up last night, he was batting .314, and then when he came up again, he was batting .278. Yeah. He must not have enough at-bats.
Well, he doesn't have a lot of at-bats. And they had, they went through this string where they faced a lot of lefties, and then they didn't until the last few games. So he didn't see many at-bats for a few games. He'll probably see some time this because they face Sanchez this weekend with the Phillies. But he's done well. He's played vying defense, which honestly for the Tigers they needed. So he's done pretty well, and he's gotten some ABs. And actually that game he got a crucial. I mean, he kind of busted the game open, even though you could have argued it was an error, but no one touched it, so it was ruled a double. But when he got that double right between the second baseman and right fielder, that kind of broke the game open because then Verlander came up and hit the double, and they ended up scoring.
Well, that's the importance of putting the ball into play.
I've talked about that. Absolutely.
I mean, that's what we got to do, right? Because things happen when you put the ball in play.
Yeah, and they've got. I mean, even when things weren't going so well, I talked about that, and I've talked about it in some game videos that I do after the games. I've said that they just have to be better at putting the ball in play and producing runs. And in May they didn't do that. It was like guys would get on, it'd be guy on third with no outs, strikeout, guy on base with no one out, strikeout, and then you can't manufacture a run, then you need a hit. And it's like the games in Houston, and even when they lost to the Yankees at Comerica, when they lost that series, right? Because they played the Yankees 2 series in a week in 6-7 days.
Yeah.
They lost 2 games. It's because the Astros and Yankees created runs, manufactured runs, and then the Tigers didn't. Now, it also helps that since June 1, the Tigers literally lead all of baseball in home runs with 57. So that the home runs definitely help, but they've also gotten better. Like I just talked about with Malgeri, when just putting the ball in play, and they got it. They've done that better, and that has shown. And
they were playing teams with questionable defenses. The Yankees were really sloppy in that series in Detroit, and then of course the double thing that we're talking about was probably one of the silliest plays you're going to see all year.
Absolutely.
So if you put the ball into play against questionable defenses,
definitely. The Yankees have struggled lately. Defensively, Grisham was hurt. He's a center fielder, but just overall, he's very good defensively. But you know what? I wouldn't, if Tiger fans, I wouldn't feel bad because in May, that's what the Tigers were doing. And even early on, like I talked about, like when there were some plays, like even going back to like the Toronto series and the Boston series at Fenway, when they just didn't make plays. Like remember when Colt just didn't catch the ball at first base.
Right.
The Red Sox didn't feel bad that happened.
Right.
You got to take advantage, and that's what the good teams do. I actually talked about it in my video last night. The good baseball teams don't necessarily just go undefeated against the other good to great baseball teams. What they do is they beat the bad teams. And Oakland right now is a bad team.
Yeah.
They're 1-9 in their last 10. I'm sorry, Oakland. I said the A's, they're not Oakland anymore.
Do we call them Sacramento or Las Vegas?
Nothing. They're
Okay.
not anything. And it's in my head because we
rudderless
talked
ship.
about that the other day. They're cityless right now.
Oh, my God.
So they're a bad baseball team, and I've said for last week that especially with the first two pitching matchups, the Tigers should win those baseball games with Tarik and Troy on the mound, and they did. So that's what that's what they had needed to do, especially in the spot they put themselves in, and they've done it so far.
Great. Let's talk about some more baseball. Dodgers continue to dominate. Why? And I think they could even be better.
Yeah, they have the best record in the NL League right now. In Major League Baseball, even 61 wins right now. They're hitting really well. Their pitching is insanely good. The pitching performances, I mean, Justin Robleski's with a 10-2 record whenever he's starting. Shohei Ohtani, an 8-2 record. Their earned runs average is all pretty extremely low for their starting pitching. It is just, they are completely dominant, and so far, it seems like all their competition is in the NL en route to a potential third straight World Series.
So why did the money work for the Dodgers and the money didn't work for the Mets?
Well, Shohei has a lot to do with that. Let's just start there. But another thing is I mean, Freddie Freeman, Mookie hasn't even played well this year. Another thing that the Dodgers are just doing, it's crazy because they also arguably have one of the best farm systems in baseball, right? So it's like they're having their cake and eating it too.
Mm-hmm.
But when you got a player, I mean, I can't even begin to express what Shohei's doing right now. We could probably talk an hour just on what Shohei's doing.
Right.
He could arguably win a Cy Young, right? With just to like what Hunter was speaking to, what he's doing on the mound.
Right.
And he's the best hitter in the National League. There are a few better, like in the American League. I mean, like, the crazy thing about the Dodgers is Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, and Edwin Diaz aren't even playing. And Hunter just made a great point about how well they're pitching. Right, he's right. I mean, Robleski has he has a sub-3 ERA. Right, this guy out of nowhere that most people don't even know about. And they just win, and they win all the time when he's pitching. And they have a multiple-time Cy Young winner coming back soon, Tyler Glasnow, who every year could potentially be in that conversation, and arguably one of the best closers in the game that hasn't even that's hurt and coming back. They're getting 2 out of those 3 back soon. The Mets, transitioning to them, and I think there's just some internal problems there. I don't think it was necessarily Mendoza. Soto, Lindor had their problems. Jeff McNeil last year supposedly had their problems. That's why they traded him. So, I think they need to do some just reflection internally and realize, who's going to lead and who's going to follow in that clubhouse.
Okay, good. And the Mets, who's the biggest bust? And like the owner of the team can spend unlimited money. What's their plan? I mean, are they going to do that this year, being down 15?
Oh, I just don't see that happening this year. When you were 39-54, 5th in the NL East, and the losing streak they went on at the beginning of the season, where they lost 13, 14 games in a row, was just pretty much a sign of things to come so far for what has happened this season. The money has not panned out. I mean, Juan Soto does lead the team in batting average and home runs and Bo Bichette leads it in RBI. Those are free agent, big money additions. But the team for some reason just isn't clicking. A lot of their pitching staff, a lot of their ERAs are extremely high. There are not many people on their pitching staff with both sub-3 ERAs right now. And so whatever it is, it's just not clicking for the Mets. Like you said, Jeff McNeil was traded away. Pete Alonso left in free agency to Baltimore. They signed a lot of pieces, spent a lot of money, but it's just a disaster of a season for the New York Mets. And my brother at home, he is a Mets fan.
Oh, really?
He has been
my
terrifically disappointed in the season so far.
And they've also had some really lackadaisical play, really bad national sports news errors. In the outfield, I think somebody hit a Little League home run against them where the outfielder just missed it, and it's bouncing around and out there. So I think that they're playing with depression. It looks like out there. They're not playing with excitement. They're not playing out with joy. They're beaten down.
I don't think, back to what I referenced. They went out and got Juan Soto, but Juan Soto, I guess I necessarily don't know how to say this other than kind of just being blunt. He isn't a leader, right? In New York, he succeeded and he worked because they had Aaron Judge.
Mm-hmm. And Aaron Judge is a leader? And
Aaron Judge is a leader. Absolutely, Aaron Judge is a leader. So it's he could be, because Juan Soto he wants to do his thing and he wants to kind of be Robin and perform on the field, and he doesn't want to worry about other guys.
Mm-hmm.
And Juan Soto last year was even part of the problem supposedly with Lindor, leaving. I think, to his point, you just mentioned Alonso. Absolutely, Alonso is a leader. And they said, hey, we don't need you anymore. Okay. Yeah. They brought in Freddie Peralta. He's been a bust.
So part of putting these teams together is not just individual performance, but it's how they're going to mesh and how they're going to build each other up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's leadership capabilities and it's team chemistry. You can't just throw money at the best available players and have it work out all the time. You're not going to be, it's not a baseball reference, but you're not going to be the 2016 Golden State Warriors throwing money at all the stars and it's always going to mesh all the time. You could have all the stars, but if they don't click, it's all about the mindset. If they don't click with chemistry, or there's no leaders on the team, if they get in a slump and they're always getting down and depressed and there's nobody there to talk them up, or if there's no chemistry and they hate each other, and then you get infighting in the dugout. And it's more than just the talent you throw the money at.
Got it. So let's talk about one of our sponsors. For more than a century, neighbors have been walking through the doors of Ypsilanti Ace Hardware in downtown Ypsilanti at 111 Pearl. That's over 100 years of helping generations tackle projects big and small. Whether you're fixing a leaky faucet, painting a room, planting a garden, or searching for the perfect tool, you'll find quality products, expert advice, and the friendly service you expect from your hometown hardware store. Skip the big box hassle and shop where you're treated like a neighbor. Stop by Ypsilanti Ace Hardware in the heart of downtown Ypsilanti at 111 Pearl. Over 100 years of service, and they're still there to help you get the job done right. Ypsilanti Ace Hardware, your neighborhood hardware store for generations. What's our next topic, Josh?
The Yankees have been slumping. We kind of talked about them.
When their Judge coming back?
It's TBD right now.
Oh, no, that's terrible.
Yeah, the bullpen had some issues. At first they kind of handled Aaron Judge being gone well, and even Max Fried, who was a Cy Young candidate, until he got hurt. They are big losses. I'm not necessarily worried that they're not going to miss the playoffs. I think they're going to make the playoffs, and of course, in a few weeks, they're going to buy just like they did last year, right? They brought in Bednar, they brought in Duvall last year. They're going to do the same this coming year. They're going to assess what they need and bring it in. And kind of like what I said about Shohei Ohtani. Aaron Judge doesn't pitch, but as far as the next person in line that just impacts the game that consequentially, it's Aaron Judge. So, I think they're going to be fine. Aaron Rodon also got hurt. Carlos Rodon, their pitcher, also just got hurt, which is a big loss. But over 162, most teams are going to have some type of downturn between injuries and just playing bad baseball.
Yeah, they were playing bad baseball in Detroit.
Yeah, they were. They absolutely. They did not look good. They especially in the Bronx when they won
The Red Sox.
Huh?
The Red Sox beat them.
Oh yes, yeah. Well, the Red Sox swept them, and then also that was at Fenway, I believe. When, right.
And then they came to Detroit.
Yeah, right. And then so definitely.
Yeah, good. And so it seems like the NL and the AL continue to diverge. The NL is just on average way better. The statistic I saw that kind of just made me chuckle is the Cincinnati Reds have a better record as of a day ago than the Detroit Tigers, but the Cincinnati Reds were 16 and a half games back of their division, and the Tigers were 6 or 6.5 games back when I looked at it. I think they're now 5.5 games back. So how can that be?
Well, like you said, it's just the NL being that much better. The Cincinnati Reds right now, they do sit at 42 and 49, and they are 15 and a half games back because they're just in a division with the Milwaukee Brewers and the Chicago Cubs. And the Brewers have this insane pitching staff right now, and arguably the NL Cy Young favorite right now. And, the Tigers, they're competing in a division where the Chicago White Sox are in first place, a team that was the laughingstock of the AL Central for a few years, now a young and exciting team. And it's just the dominance that the NL has been on. And I was looking at the standings earlier, and there's 4 teams in the NL East right now that all have 48 wins or more. All of those teams would be leading the AL Central by at least a game. And I wouldn't say there's not teams of that caliber. Their teams just don't have the same records in the AL as they do in the NL right now.
Yeah, okay. And speaking of the Brewers, the pitcher threw, was it 106 miles per hour or 105? Or
105, 106. It keeps rising almost every single game.
Yeah, and so that's one of the major reasons the Brewers are doing well. But why else are they doing well?
I mean, their hitting rotation has been really good. I mean, you still have a player like Christian Yelich, even though he's 36 or however old he is. He's getting up there in age. He's still hitting really well. Bryce Turang, William Contreras, Jake Bauers, all those guys hitting the ball extremely well. All 265 averages are higher right now. Garrett Mitchell has been really good on the batting end. But, I mean, it doesn't look like they hit him many home runs. Jake Bauers leads the team with 16 home runs. He has 54 RBIs as well. But their pitching staff it's just been really good this entire season. Their ERAs are all pretty good, and especially when Jacob Mizorowski's pitching, they don't have to put up that many runs usually to win the game. And so they've just been consistently good all year long. And
Josh, what are they going to do at the trade deadline to improve?
Yeah, the Brewers are going to be interesting. They actually have, they got one of the top prospects in baseball. They got, I believe it's 9 in the top 100. I think I saw yesterday. So they have the ammunition to do something. Will they? I think they're going to do something. A guy that some power could help as far as postseason, like last year. Because it's hard when it becomes so different when you go from facing the 4 and 5 starters in July to only facing 1 through 3 in the playoffs, right? And then even getting some other starters stacked on you, and because there's a lot more swing and miss, you face a lot more swing and miss pitchers in that.
That's why I think that Detroit could be dangerous in the playoffs. Is they can put Cater Montero in behind any one of their top 4 starters.
It's very true. Staffs shorten up, right?
All right,
so
back to the Brewers,
it makes every staff. In theory, I'm sorry.
I said back to the Brewers. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So, the Brewers are obviously. They lead the MLB in ERA. They are 5th in batting average, right? So what we've talked about, they don't. So that means they don't give up very many runs, and they put the ball in play. So that I think that to get some home run power, because last year we kind of saw that, like last year they won, 100 games, and then they go in and they get swept by the Dodgers. They were overmatched. They're a better team this year.
Okay. They
definitely are. I mean, they're 23-12 since June 1. They're actually even better than the Dodgers since that mark. So, and obviously, as we talked about, Jacob Mizorowski probably going to win the Cy Young. I mean, him in a playoff situation, truthfully, there's probably no one else you'd rather have take the mound at this second.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to make a move. What it'll be, there have been some rumors for who they could possibly get, but we'll see.
All right, good. All-Star Game's coming up. I love the All-Star Game. I always have. I think it's better than ever. It's the best All-Star Game in all major sports. In May, it was looking like the Detroit Tigers might have 0 All-Stars. Mm-hmm. And then in June, all of a sudden, we find ourselves having 4, which is pretty wild because Verlander got this Legends pick. But who surprised you getting into the All-Star Game, and who do you think got snubbed?
From Detroit or just in general?
Just in general.
Just in general? How? I don't know. I think a bit of a surprise, and maybe it's just because of the injury recently, but Aaron Judge just a little bit, because, I mean, he's still hurt at the moment, and he's been injured for a while. Granted, he's been really good. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's just the injury surprised me a little bit. Mike Trout as well. In terms of snubs, I don't really have any at the moment.
Josh, you got any snubs?
Yeah, well, snubs, we'll tell you what. First, I'm going to say I'm officially out on fan voting.
Okay, yeah.
I get the theory, and I get why. Like, it just, because
of what I did.
Huh?
Because of what I did.
Probably, yes.
Yeah, I ruined the All-Star break.
I'm even going to go back to last year just because, like, people know that listen to this, yes, we are Tiger fans, but I try to be objective, right? Like, last year, Javi Baez should not have been the starting center fielder, okay? Byron Buxton should have been, okay? Fast forward to this year. In no world should Alejandro Kirk have been second in voting, even though, and he's not in, but should have been ahead of Dylan Dingler. In no world should that have happened. And he's played in 23 games and is hitting 185.
So how did that happen? They're just he's a fan favorite?
Because Canada wanted him in. Okay. I mean, granted, Canada has a population of Michigan, but
right.
I mean,
but if they get a campaign going and get the fans voting,
right? I mean, and I get it because the game is for the fans, Vladimir Guerrero was starting. He's 4 home runs. I mean, come on.
Right.
Like, I know home runs isn't the other stat, but that's just an example. Like, Ben Rice, Nick Kurtz, 1,000,000 times over should have been. And now Vladdy gracefully and respectfully bowed out. He said he needed to rest, but I think he knew.
Yeah.
He should not be starting that game.
So is he still an All-Star then?
I mean, he's going to get credit for it, but he's not playing. He's rest.
Okay.
He wants to take rest because he says his back. He wants to rest his back for his team, which is good. But so I just wanted to get that out there. Something needs to be done, because it's just not fair. The All-Star game, it's getting to the point where for me to say, oh, this person is a 5-time All-Star, well, it doesn't mean anything because they could have hit 200,
mm-hmm.
and it just because the fans wanted him in.
So what would be a better alternative? The players vote?
Well, they do that for the reserves is
yeah.
players and managers. Maybe a percentage. Maybe there's qualifications that are set. Like, first of all, games played, I think, should be something.
Oh, right. So it could be a fan voting, but it could be minimum games played, minimum batting average.
Alejandro Kirk, you have to play in X percentage of games.
Yeah.
Something like that nature, because that's just obscene to me.
Yeah.
And I know I sound passionate about it, but.
Well, I mean, 23 games.
But and part of it is because it's Dylan, but.
Yeah.
but to be fair, like I said, Byron Buxton should have started last year.
Right.
So I'm even. But as far as snubs, I mean, Sonny Gray has had a great year, and I know that probably part of it is just because Boston already had 5, 6 guys in.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Wacha getting in, and also you could even talk about Nick Martinez. Nick Martinez has been great for the Rays. and like Michael Walker's in, and he has like a 3.5 ERA. And it's not because the Royals needed someone. They had Bobby Witt. Bobby Witt starting at the AL shortstop.
Yeah.
He mentioned Bryce Terang. Hunter mentioned Bryce Terang. He could have been in JJ Weatherholt too.
Okay.
Great. And I'm even talking about the initial, when I say these snubs too, like, I know things change, and I'm talking about the initial, like, okay, you're in type deal, right? Because I think that matters. Like, I think some of these, I don't think some of these guys should just be getting in because people bow out or all this other stuff.
All right, so let's talk about the trade deadline. It's coming up here in a very short period of time. What are these teams going to do? Let's talk about Detroit Tigers first. They've got some really tough decisions to make, and what do you think? If they win today and take 2 out of 3 against the Phillies magically, or luckily, I should say, somehow pull that off, what are they going to do?
I mean, if they somehow pull that off, that would be awesome. Before we get started, I want to mention a snub I just thought of. I mentioned earlier Justin Robleski having a great season, while guys like Logan Webb is the controversial, questionable starter in the NL. Justin Robleski is another option. It could be a snub, but getting back to the Tigers, if they somehow manage to get another one out of the Phillies today, that makes things really interesting. They're only 5.5 games back from the White Sox at the top. Cleveland is half a game or a game behind them right now. The AL Central has always been very tight-knit race between some very middling to disappointing teams, it seems like, every season. And around this time last year, the Tigers were up on the Guardians 15.5 games last year.
Yeah.
And the Guardians won that division. So it is not out of the realm of possibility, especially with the White Sox and the Guardians at the top right now. And Byron Buxton went on the IL 10-day list again for the Twins, who are sitting ahead of them right now. It is not out of the realm of possibility for the Tigers. Everyone's saying they should probably sell Skubal, but the rotation has been performing really well as of recently. And I just think, even though Dylan Dingler exited the game last night, we'll see a status on him hopefully before the game today. But I just, like a soft buy maybe right now. It depends on how they do tonight, I would say.
And what about Gleyber Torres? How does he play into that? Is he coming back?
So Gleyber, there's actually an update on him yesterday. Gleyber, he's been swinging, taking like 45 to 50 swings. He feels really good. He should be back. I think as of this second, the plan would probably be he'll be back. Like, they played the 17th of Friday after the All-Star break. I think he'd be back for that.
Okay.
Javi actually also he's back to the running, fielding, and batting activities.
Oh, nice.
So he might not be as soon, but he should be not far behind. The Tigers, man, I could talk a long time on this, and I'm gonna try to be kind of efficient here. This is just one of the most interesting kind of situations. It made a crazy situation crazier somehow with the whole Tarik Skubal deal. Like, I know everyone's talking about, look what happened in 2020, and I'm really not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to be objective and really fair here. 2024 and even 2025, right? Yeah, I understand the craziness happened in 2024, and I do get that the Guards were 15.5 back last year and won it. There's a couple of differences in the whole situations. Let's first start with 2024. Obviously, the Tigers, first of all, sold. Right? They traded Jack Flaherty to the Dodgers in 2024. They did not say, hey, we're going to do this. It just happened, right? I will say, in 2024, if they had Tarik Skubal, who won Cy Youngs in 2022 and 2023, and he was up for a contract after 2024, he would have been traded, okay? Right? They would have sold. So, all right, now let's talk about 2025. For sure, craziness happened again in the inverse, and they blew it. Well, at least the division. They still made the playoffs. The difference is that, I mean, again, if the Guardians would have had a 2-time Cy Young winner whose contract was expiring, they would have traded him. And again, I'm talking about just Tarik Skubal for a second here,
right?
In terms of like how they have to look at this, and like realistically. the Guardians would have traded that pitcher. So that's kind of just some differences. Also, the Guardians weren't in fourth place. As bad as the Tigers were blowing people out, right? You still, like, I get they're 5.5 games out, and even they're in the wild card. They are 4 games out. They're 5 teams ahead of them in the wild card, and they're in a 4th place team in the division. As we sit here, I actually looked this morning. They have a 33% chance of making the playoffs. Winning the division is 19 of that, basically 20 of that. Okay. So even though they're farther back game wise, it is because there's 3 teams ahead of them. And I've talked about that before. The fact that there's so many teams ahead of them in the wild card and even a 4th place team in the division makes that number look better than it actually is. Because I've talked about it. Like when you have last night, when you have the Twins and Guardians playing each other, yeah, it's great. Someone's losing, but someone's also winning. And all these teams ahead of them also in the wild card, they're playing each other. Like the A's are right with them in the wild card. The A's go and play Cleveland or another division foe this week. I'm not saying I think they should sell, but it's just so tough because if you hold on, like my want for them is whatever way they do. If they buy, go buy, like pedal to the metal. But if they sell, cool, trade Tarik. But then at that point, talk about KC, talk about Gleyber Torres, even talk about Jack Flaherty, because you're not like the realistic expectation, in my opinion, for the 2026 Detroit Tigers was to contend to get to the World Series.
Right.
I'm not going to sit there and say they should. I expect them to beat the Dodgers or
right.
Let's just be real, probably not. But so like I don't need them to hold on to try to thread the needle, trade Tarik, get some of that just to get to a wild card series. Why? When you could also trade more people. Casey Mize is going to theoretically be the 2nd best starter available on the market.
Yeah,
he really will be. Maybe Joe Ryan is better, but 2nd or 3rd, okay. Like if the Twins trade Joe Ryan, like there's no, like if you're trading Tarik, you're not getting to the World Series. It's just not, like, I hate to tell Tiger fans that.
Yeah.
Like, don't tell me you want to trade Tarik and then expect them to, like, then you're saying, okay, and that's cool.
Well,
rebuild. But whatever, just be, if you're going to be a Bear, be a Grizzly.
Yeah. The worst part about trading Tarik Skubal is now you're facing him in the playoffs if you get there. That's horrible.
And there's, again, that's exactly a great point, because, like, again, that's why I said I could talk so long at this, and I'm not trying to do kind of filibuster here, but, like, so if you really trade Tarik Skubal, are you trading him to an American League team?
That's a good point.
Are you?
I would.
Like, and if you're, okay, if I should say that, if you're trading Tarik Skubal and saying, okay, no, we're keeping Casey, we're keeping Gleyber, we're like, it's just Tarik. We're going to try to do both. We're going to try to get a return for Tarik, and we're going to try to still make a playoffs and be a competitive team. Are you trading Tarik to the Yankees or someone else, or the Yankees seem to be the only American League team.
They certainly might try to throw in an offer. That's for sure.
Like, I mean, realistically, that would do it. But to face him months later and then have him theoretically beating you in the playoffs, I just don't, like, that'd be crazy to me.
Yeah.
And again, I might be crazy. I probably am. But so that's just my point. When GM, if I know that, much smarter president of baseball operations and GMs know that.
Right.
If I'm thinking that they are, where's the leverage in the deal that you're going to be getting? That they're going to know. Oh yeah, man, you got to give him to a National League team. Okay, do the Dodgers really need Tarik Skubal?
No,
they do not.
No, but the Brewers.
The other team that.
What about the Phillies?
Yeah, but the Mets do. Yes, so the Brewers do. That's a great point. But then the point is that they have the leverage in the deal.
Right.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say, is that
Yeah,
And
if
I'm
you
not
if
blaming
you take
Scott Harris for this. I'm just saying that why I've said that this situation is just crazy and got crazier, and I could go on about it.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many angles and things to consider when making this.
But if you take 14
decision.
teams off the table, and you can only trade to 15 teams or whatever,
Correct. Where's the leverage?
yeah, you're really taking
Because I
down.
think it'd be crazy to even trade him in the American League. If you're trying to also sell to me that you're still competing and trying to compete to make it to a World Series.
Right.
In my opinion. And I've been wrong before in my life.
All right, so we're talking to you, Mr. Ilitch. Please spend a lot of money on whatever you decide to do. All right, so then Boston Red Sox, San Diego Padres, Pittsburgh Pirates. What do you think a couple of those teams are going to do?
I think I'll start off with the Padres. I think they're potential buyers in this situation. They're right there at 500. They've been up and down a little bit recently, but I think they're going to be looking for some upgrades to the bullpen a little bit. They did just win 2 against the Diamondbacks. They lost a series against the Dodgers, but sitting there right at 500, starting with the Padres. They're 14 games back in second place of their division, but I think they're a good enough roster that I think they buy and they look for a playoff push.
Okay, good. And Josh, any notable big names besides Tarik Skubal that you think are going to move?
Yeah, you just talked about the Sox. Like, I think that they're in a similar situation to Tigers, except they don't have like the whole Tarik Skubal thing, but like they were a team that was bad. And then they've actually played a lot better, and they're like right there with the Tigers. They're actually 3 games out of the wild card. Now they're not going to win their division because like they're right. They're in the AL East and they're 12 games back. Yes, 12 games back. So that's probably not happening, but I think like they could still maybe try to buy, but they could move Aroldis Chapman maybe, just because maybe that would allow them to get something else that they feel they need more, even though bullpen does help. But so that would be interesting. I think that you could the Giants are going to move some players. Matt Chapman, Luis Arraez are a couple names to look out for. Even Willie Adames, their shortstop, they've already said that they're pretty much going to bail and move some veteran guys, try to unload some money. I think going back to the Mets, Freddie Peralta is a name to look for. Even though he struggled there, like he's had career good numbers. This is kind of like what Framber Valdez is doing for the Tigers, goes somewhere and then just has the worst year of his career.
Yeah, what the heck?
Not to change back to the Tigers, but so that's something. The Houston Astros are an interesting team because they're obviously competing. They're in the wild card race. They're actually a few games ahead of the Tigers.
And they have one of the best hitters in baseball.
Correct. They other than Hunter Brown, their starting pitching has really struggled. So that's something that they were like, okay, we're going to compete. They need to address that because pitching is everything in the playoffs.
Right.
They're even close in the division because the Mariners have kind of not been what the Mariners are expected to be, but they have guys like Jeremy Pena, another Boris client like Tarik. They couldn't re-sign him last year, and it's like that guy could bring a lot back if they feel that they could maybe have someone to backfill him, because they need the pitching. Isaac Paredes is another guy that they could maybe look to move, or even Josh Hader, the lefty who the Tigers saw a couple weeks ago, who has another 2 years of control. They could be another team that kind of tries to do both, sell and buy, if they're thinking there's, and then Hader is a big name.
Yeah, okay, great. So before we move to covering the divisions, let's hear a word from one of our sponsors. Is your air conditioning struggling to keep up with the summer heat? Don't sweat it. Call Wright Mechanical, 734-684-0030. Whether you need a fast, seasonal repair or a brand new high-efficiency air conditioner, the experienced team at Wright Mechanical has you covered. They provide honest service, quality workmanship, and dependable comfort you can count on. Call Wright Mechanical at 734-685-0030 today to schedule your service and experience the right way to stay cool. Stay cool all summer with a team that puts your comfort first. Wright Mechanical, keeping your home comfortable no matter how high the temperature climbs. www.wrightmech.com. So just kind of recapping the divisions and where we're at, let's start with the Central. I think the White Sox are going to fade away. I think it's kind of a fluke, and I think it's going to be Cleveland and Detroit battling it out again as usual. Did the guy come back off the injury list, the home run hitter for White Sox from Japan?
Not yet.
Okay, so yeah, again, if he stays hurt, I think they fade away. But what do you guys think about the AL Central?
First about the White Sox, what a surprise season for them. They're a young and exciting team, and they're actually exciting to watch for their fans, and I think that's great for them. As my brother likes to say sometimes, young teams, they don't know how to lose. They don't have anything to lose at all, so that's what makes them exciting, dangerous, and also up and down. So they could continue playing this high rate because they're so young, or they could be hit or miss around the year. I do kind of agree that when it comes down to the final stretch of the season after the All-Star break, the way both teams are playing right now, the Guardians and the Tigers are going to be in that top two in the division race again, barring any massive selling from Detroit. I just think those two teams, the way they're playing right now, and the White Sox, they've been good this season, but how can you trust the young talent? I don't think you really can. So Guardians and Tigers, I do agree with that. And the Royals are clearly at the last place team at the moment. I don't see anything for them in the future in the Central.
Yeah, good. And what about the East without Aaron Judge?
Yeah, the Rays are ahead right now. I think that's going to be a battle. Max Fried and Judge should be back relatively soon. And like I said, the Yanks are going to address needs here, in 3 weeks. So I think that will be a pretty good battle. I think the Rays and Yanks will be both in the postseason.
Okay, good. And the West.
That I think that's the interesting one. I think because you have 3 teams right now just clumped in so close together with the Mariners, the Rangers, and the Astros. The Athletics and the Angels kind of clearly at the bottom right now, but even the Athletics in 4th place, like the Tigers, are 5.5 games back. It's just such a tight division race. Obviously, if you're the Mariners, Cal Raleigh has not been able to replicate what he did last year. And for a catcher, that's extremely hard. What he did last season was amazing.
How many home runs does he have right now?
Oh, he just came off the IL for, I believe, an oblique injury. So his numbers are going to be a lot lower anyways than they were last year. Right now he's at 9 home runs on the year.
Wow, that's bad.
He was at 62 last year, 61, somewhere around that number. The AL West is going to be a tight race, it looks like, throughout that entire season, and all just crammed right around 500, the Astros, Rangers, and Mariners. Randy Arozarena is doing his best on the batting side to keep Seattle on top of that division.
I think it's going to be the Astros because they've got the playoff experience. They've got one of the best hitters in baseball. And Seattle, if Cal Raleigh can't get it together, I just don't see it happening. All right, going to the National League, Josh?
Yeah, the East, the National League East has really tightened up. I think the Phillies are 20 games over since Don Mattingly took over from Rob Thompson. They're only 3 games back now. Braves have been slipping, but they've had some injuries. They've had some pitching injuries. Strider got hurt. Acuna got hurt. Who, as great as he is, does seem to always be injured. They'll make moves. The Braves. I anticipate both of them being in the playoffs. I wouldn't necessarily worry about either of those teams because and Dave Dombrowski in Philly, he's definitely going to make moves at the deadline. To address things that they need. But Phillies are a very, very good baseball team. Yeah. With the 2 starters that they have, and even Luzardo as a third has been pitching. He can be a little volatile, but he's been very good lately. And Andron is top 5, if not even top 3 to 4 reliever, closer in baseball.
Yeah, good. And What else should we talk about as we close this out relating to different divisions? Anything else you want to talk about?
I think the NL West is just clear kind of runaway at this point.
Okay, yeah.
I like the Padres in second place to make a push for the wild card, but I don't think anybody in that division is catching the Dodgers. We talk about teams that can maybe catch other teams in the division and behind. The NL West, I think, is the only division right now where you can probably clearly pick a winner at the All-Star break, and you'd probably be 99.9% correct to pick them.
All right, good. Let's hear from our final sponsor. This is the Frenetic Pace Around the Bases podcast. Looking for your next home, apartment, or office space? Start your search with Beal Real Estate at gobeal.com. Whether you're searching for a single-family home, a comfortable apartment, or a perfect commercial office space, Beal Real Estate has a variety of properties available for lease to fit your needs. Finding the right space has never been easier. Just go to gobeal.com today to browse current listings, explore available properties, see the pictures, see the videos, see the 3D renderings, and take the first step towards your next move. Call Beal Real Estate at 734-662-6133 and visit gobeal.com. Beal Real Estate, helping you find the right place to live, work, and grow. Final thing I want to talk about is the Detroit Tigers, Justin Verlander. What do you think of his announcement and the timing of that announcement?
Yeah, man, it's too bad that it's too bad that this season has went the way it has for him.
I mean, 3 Cy Youngs, 2 World Championships. Who's his wife? Kate Upton.
Yeah,
He'll be all right.
well,
He'll be all right.
He's just fine. I mean, not just him, but the team. I mean, because
right.
I do think he can contribute in a positive way. I mean, he finished really strong for the Giants last year. But yeah, I mean, as far as overall quality of life, he will be just fine.
Right.
He's making a few dollars, and yeah, Kate at home isn't bad either. The timing, obviously, I think it's great. I mean, I think that there very well possibly could have been some communication with Manfred on, hey, I mean, like the Legends pick thing, because that's basically what the same thing happened with Clayton Kershaw last year, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm done, and they were like, Manfred was like, all right, we're gonna obviously honor you because, Max is still pitching, but I mean, what Justin has accomplished, I don't think I'm going to see one again in my lifetime.
And he's not going to pitch in the All-Star game.
No, he's just going to go.
He's going to get the.
He's going
to get the festivities.
Yeah, he's not even ready to pitch. He's still rehabbing.
And do you think he'll start at home at least once, even if he's hobbled? I think they're going to put him out. Yeah, I think they're going to wheel him out there. I mean, because like look what they did with Cabrera. I mean, he comes in and they pull him the very second he gets the hit, right. So they can do so maybe he goes out there and strikes somebody out and they pull him.
I'd like to think that,
and then they have Cater come in,
right,
and still win the game.
Right. I'd like to think that at least that they'll let him go out and literally throw one batter to end an inning or something. You know what I mean? Because obviously there's the 3-batter rule, but
right.
Unless you end an inning, at worst case, if he just. But I think it seems like he says he thinks he will be ready enough to do something at some point. Hopefully in the next month or so.
Okay, so you think he'll come back and legitimately pitch?
Legitimately might be a little bit of a strong word. I'm not so sure, but just because I'm going off what he said yesterday. He's like, my arm feels great. It's the rest of my body that
right.
He just seems to not.
He didn't really have much positive to say yesterday about prognosis for the season.
Right. That's why I think that maybe it'll be something where he can maybe just literally come in for a game, get his appearance at Comerica. Maybe. I mean, I hope not, but.
Yeah,
that it very well could be something like what you just referenced. I remember with Miggy, they just had Miggy basically make a cameo.
Right. Yeah, good. And that's Around the Bases with Frenetic Pace Sports. Check us out at freneticpace.com. Phase 1 of the website is complete. It's up and running. Phase 2 is under development. We're going to be improving the site a lot, launching our merch store, and you'll see a lot of changes. We're excited about the fall coming up here with all the different sports starting up very soon. And Major League Baseball playoff run is going to be pretty exciting. So that's our podcast. Thank you, guys.